Hey guys, welcome back to this video in this Jquery Mobile series, and in this video we're going to be going over how to set up a form using Jquery Mobile for our contact page. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a regular text input where you can put your name, and then where you can put your email, your phone number, and the date, and then a text area. And then the later videos are going to be talking about form handling and processing that form data and actually sending it to a database where someone can view it and you could basically get a response or something from what you sent. So let's get started. So first what we want to do is we want to open up our code editor here. Since we're going to be doing a form, we want to work in the contact page here. So let's just work in the data row contact. Take that away here. Alright, so first is we want to define our form. We call the form using plain old HTML. And the name is contact. We'll give it a name of contact underscore form for the name of the actual form. You can always name it whatever you like, whatever is more convenient for you, but I'm just gonna go ahead with contact underscore form. So now what we want to do is we want to actually define the different types of inputs. So we're gonna start off with a name input, and then email, phone number, and then date, and then the actual message, which will be a text area input. So in order to do a text input, we want to give it a label first. So we do label for so for is basically calling it for which ID. So we're gonna give it an ID of name underscore input. So name here, and then now we're gonna actually define our input. So we're gonna do input type equals text, and we're gonna give it a name of name input and an ID of name input. And remember, this for has to call the input's ID, so this has to be the same as this. Alright, you give it a placeholder, enter your name. Alright, now let's see how this is. Refresh it, contact, and we can see here that we have our text input here with our label name. So now what we want to do is we want to go over how to set up a actually let's give this an input of first name. So that way we can do your first name, and then we can just copy and paste this to last name, and then just change it to lname underscore input, and then we can just change all these other name and IDs. Enter your last name. Alright, so now we have our first name, last name, and then now we're gonna define the email. That should be really similar with this. So what we're gonna do is gonna give it a label of email input, email, and then we're just gonna copy and paste this here. Enter your email. So let's see how it is right now. So we have first name, last name, email, and then now what we have to do is we need to give it an input for your phone number. So what we're gonna do is gonna give it a label. Label is gonna be phone input, so phone number, and then the input is gonna be input type. This time it's not gonna be text, it's gonna be number, since it's a phone number. And name, we're just gonna give it the same as the ID, so phone input, and then ID obviously is gonna be called phone underscore input. Alright, and what's unique about this input is we're gonna have a kind of validate it, so the user can only type only numbers, so this way it's easier to validate it. Nine. So there we have our pattern, so you can the user can only type in numbers through 0 through 9. So that's going to be a very useful input because it'll eliminate our use and it'll eliminate like some of the validation right there from just doing that input. So let's see how it is. As you can see, I cannot type any letters. I can only type in numbers here. And in the future videos, we're going to be going over validation and actually limiting the amount of digits you can enter, and the email, the name, things like that. So now let's put in, or we need to give this a placeholder. Enter your phone number. Alright, so now we have 2 more inputs, and we need to give a date input. So in order to do that, we're going to be giving it a label first. A label for date underscore input. I'm going to give this date of birth, let's say. Input, so the input type is going to be date. That's what's going to give our date format, which is going to be really useful to the user, and it's going to give them a better user experience because you don't have to just type the whole thing. It would already give a format which they can just easily type on. So the name over this is going to be date underscore input. It's going to be the same as the ID. And lastly, we're going to give it a placeholder of enter your date of birth. Now to finish it off, we're going to define a text area. So in order to do so, we're going to be first giving it a label. We're going to call this message input. Message. And then we're going to define our input type as text area. We're not going to give it an input. We're going to call it text area because this is a HTML element. 40, and then 40 columns, and they're going to be 10 rows. Let's give it 50 columns. I'm going to give this a name of message input and an ID of message input. Alright, and that should look about right for our contact form. Let's go take a right. Let's say my name is Sahit Katla. I can give her an email as sahit@gmail.com. Phone number would be 23456789110. Let me give a random birthday. Let's just do today. Teen. I love Jquery. I love Jquery Mobile in Cordova. That's basically what we're gonna be doing for this type of form. We're just gonna do a plain old contact form. Let's try to give this a button. Contact submit. We have a submit button here. Let's give it some spacing. There we go. That's how it looks. And you can just play around with the text area, and that's about it for today's video. And we're gonna also talk about like more advanced drop downs and radio button switches in the next video. That's just, we're gonna use that for just for learning purposes, but we're not gonna actually use that. We might in the future, but we have to see. But please join me in the next video, and thank you.